Hello, everybody. My name is Oliver G. This is the Earful Tower, and today we're talking about French culture and the French art de vivre. What does that mean? Who knows? Lucille Beaufort will be the guest. She runs the French Vibes Club. You've surely seen it on social media, especially Instagram. She's in the studio talking about all this, French TV shows to watch, how to make yourself a little bit more French if that's what you want to do, and why the world is obsessed with France and French culture. So this episode's a bit different. Just like last week, we filmed it in front of a live audience. So there'll be a video of it on YouTube, and if you are an Earful Tower member, you'll be able to watch the replay and watch future videos like this live. Becoming member of the Earful Tower is how you can support this show. But a little music from Press Maxon, and then you'll hear from me and Lucille Beaufort. Let's get into it. Lucille Beaufort, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Oliver?
I'm very well. It's nice to have you in the studio to talk about French culture.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
No, the pleasure is mine. I'm ready to maybe, I hope, learn some stuff as well.
Hopefully.
Let's talk about your CV first. So you're a French. You're not. Are you Parisian French? No.
Actually, I'm originally from the Alps. So near Switzerland and Italy, Chamonix.
Chamonix, sure.
But my parents are from Paris, so I grew up between Paris and the Alps. So both are very familiar to me.
Interesting, because both of those, they're like hot places to be, you know, not literally in the winter, but I mean,
That's
Chamonix
true.
is a lot of people dream of being down there in the Alps.
It's nice, yeah, and it's nice to compare, you know, I feel like the city life and the countryside life in France, because they're very different too, so.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Which do you prefer?
A hard question.
You have to pick one.
I feel like I need both.
Yeah.
Like, I love the city life, but sometimes you want to escape, you know, get some fresh air and oxygen. So I feel like they both have pros and cons.
Okay, so
the best is both worlds.
So you're a city girl and a country girl.
Yeah, exactly.
And you speak suspiciously good English because you studied
so
the American way.
Actually, yeah, I studied at the American University of Paris. My first goal was to go to America, but then I found out this university in Paris and thought, that's great. I can get an American education, speak English better because my level was really not that good. So then went to the US for a bit and got to practice a lot more. Hopefully, the French accent fades at one point too. But right now it's still there.
I bet every person watching and listening will disagree because people love French accents. You don't think?
Yeah, you know, most of the feedback is positive. I just feel like sometimes...
Okay, before we even get into today's topic, why do French people hate their French accents? I mean, you don't have a strong French accent, but there's a French accent there.
Yeah.
Why do people hate it so much?
I just feel like because the French school system is very about being a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So unless you excel at something, you know, don't do it. So that's why we're also scared sometimes, I feel like, to talk because we are afraid of not being good enough, being judged, you know.
That's
not
such a
my
shame,
case anymore,
though,
but
it's
I
such a
think
shame.
a lot of people feel that way. Yeah, I don't like it.
But it's just like it's not like 95% of French people have brilliant English, and so they're ganging up on the other 5%.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. It's just stops
I also
everybody.
don't. I feel like it's a French mentality, you know,
Yeah.
that you have to prove you can excel at something before you do it.
And then on top of that, I heard French kids can be teased if they speak English too well.
Exactly.
Have you come across this?
Yeah, totally. So you have to downplay it a little bit.
What? It's crazy. What a minefield.
It's really weird. Yeah.
Okay, so you're an English-speaking, country-loving, city-loving French woman
Yeah.
who loves French culture and shares it online as French Vibes Club.
Exactly.
That's your world. Hundreds of thousands of people following along.
Yeah.
What?
It's been a long work.
Why
in
are
the
they
process.
following? What's going on?
I feel like the first goal of the page was really to demystify French culture a little bit because I had friends here, Americans mostly, who were telling me like, I live here, but I feel like I don't understand the culture. And I don't feel like I really feel, you know, this Frenchness. So I thought about French Vibes Club as a way to kind of build a bridge between France and the rest of the world and my perspective as a French woman on that, and to make it less complex, maybe more accessible, more authentic, and far away from like the cliche and stereotypes we sometimes encounter.
Sometimes. on Instagram, a lot of the times, right?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah.
So if I can give you some promotion as well, your stuff is, firstly, we're not going to go deep into social media and influencing and content creation.
Yeah.
which I know I've done with people similar to you before. We're going to get into French culture, but what I like about what you do online is that it's not that kind of, like, there's depth to it.
I try, yeah.
Yeah, you're talking, like, it's clear that you know what you're talking about. That's why I wanted to have you on the show. And on top of that, on top of that, you got your guides to Paris, to the Art de Vivre.
Yeah.
Which I had to Google because I didn't I've heard of joie de vivre before.
Yeah.
What is art de vivre?
I feel like it's very popular for a lot of people. Like in the US, when you talk about French art de vivre, it's something people admire. And I guess it's the way French people live, you know, it's a little bit slower. Like, for example, taking a longer time for meals, enjoying more time, you know, cooking, like the simple things in life, you know. And I feel like people want to take a little bit of those habits and bring them home with them wherever they live.
Which is, I suspect that's why my show is popular.
Yeah.
And I suspect it's why your channel is popular, because people have this seemingly insatiable appetite for this art of living and culture, which I think kind of...
They intertwine.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
So I want to start right at the basics. We've got some TV shows and stuff I want to talk about, but French culture, I was talking with my wife about this before I came to meet you, and we're like, why do people love France and its culture so much? Because there are neighboring countries that have a lot of these things as well, and they're not even nearly as popular. What is it? And that's an impossible question, but what is going on?
No, that's a great question. I feel like perhaps the answer is in the fact that France is a country of contradiction, and that's interesting to people to have different reading levels of it, you know, because you have the elegance of things, but then you have a certain chaos as well, right? So you have these things that oppose each other all the time. And I think that's why people find it interesting, because it's so chaotic in a way, but also beautiful, and, you know, there's different levels.
I think that's true.
It,
But I think, I was thinking about, like, let's take food, for example.
Yeah.
I got a 1.5-year-old girl, and I look at the menu at her crèche, her daycare. It's insane.
Isn't it like a 5-star?
It's better than it's definitely better than I eat, with like cheese of the day. Yeah. Everything's organic. The meals.
Local.
But even local, definitely. But on top of that, even the language, that when it comes to French food, I can't remember an example off the top of my head, but everything sounds better in French too, which ties into this culture thing. Yeah. So I was talking with my wife. Why do we all love the French language, the French food, this idea of this art de vivre?
Yeah.
How can it be possible? Because Italy has a lovely language, Spain has a lovely language. Japan has a lovely language too, but France
every country is beautiful, don't get me wrong.
Not all of them, but
a lot of them.
but France just seems to have nailed all of these. You think it's a contradiction thing? There's got to be more.
I do feel like that's one element to it, but also for sure there is this idea of France, right, that people have, which is international, and that goes through literature, movies, you know, food, like you were saying, the language also. Millions of people want to learn French and think it's a beautiful language. So I feel like there's so many levels to the fascination of.
Do you think it's a beautiful language as well?
I do, yeah.
French people like their language, don't they?
I do. I feel like it's quite romantic, quite poetic.
Why? I agree, but why? Let's get into this. Why is it like, is it because there's been these famous French writers forever? Yeah. Is it because, I got a letter, speaking of school again, where they were talking about it's the end of the year, there's going to be a meetup with the parents or whatever. And the way that they wrote it in French was like, let's partager un moment convivial. Like, let's share a convivial moment. And I was like, this is for 4-year-olds, that's how they invite you to have a coffee with the kids.
Yeah, it's pretty refined.
It's refined and poetic.
Yeah. I think it's also because our culture really values that. You know, there's this sense of doing things a certain way, refinement, elegance. They all kind of tie within one another.
I got an unexpected question for you. When you write an email to, let's say, the town hall or something a bit official or whatever.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Well, where do you think I'm going?
Do you write avec mes sincères?
Oh, no. I forget all that stuff. I'm interested if, as a French woman, because I assume you've written those emails before in your life.
Yeah.
Do you sit and take your time to make it a nice and beautiful email? Do you think about it?
I try, yeah.
Because I would wager, I'm Australian, I would wager other Australians maybe just get to the point and send it.
Yeah.
When I write English emails, that's what I do.
Same. Best, you know?
Yeah, but with French, like
French, yeah. I feel like people expect a certain level of politeness in the emails, just like in everyday life, right?
Yeah.
Bonjour, thank you, merci, au revoir. That's like the standard we are taught from a very young age. So it translates to emails as well, to letters, to any correspondence you have with people, any interaction. You're going to have this savoir-vivre, which ties into art de vivre.
Savoir-vivre.
It's like the know how to live,
Yep.
kind of.
Knowing
how to live, yeah.
Right.
And interact with others as well.
And knowing how to
It's
email the
important.
town hall. Which is the correct sign-off at the end of such an email?
If you want to be very formal, I would say avec mes salutations les plus distinguées.
That is crazy. Okay, say
But-
this again. Go on, say it. Everyone that's sitting on the metro, subway around the world, trying to repeat. Go on, give it to me again.
Avec mes salutations les plus distinguées.
Avec mes salutations les plus
Distinguées.
distinguées.
You did it. It's like with my distinguished salutations.
Salutations.
Yeah.
No one's ever done that in English. I don't
But you
think.
could do cordialement, très cordialement,
Yeah.
bien cordialement.
It's a whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's get into the topic that we sort of advertised that we were going to be talking about today. TV and movies. But I know that you like all the old stuff. I know that you like all the nouvelle vague kind of thing, because you shared a bunch of that, especially in the old days. For people at home who have never heard of nouvelle vague and want to understand why you like it, let's start with that.
For sure. So I just feel like it revolutionized cinema in the way it was made, because, you know, before, movies had a very classic way of starting and ending, and it literally shifted everything. Also, we saw the prominent rise of some really interesting actors that later on became famous for it. And it was very modern for the time. You know, when you compare it to other countries, it was one of the first movement, you know, in France that really, I would say, democratized cinema as well, made it more accessible, made it more fun. And I do like, you know, the storylines, the aesthetic of it. I don't want to say cinema is bad today, but I feel like back then there was real thought into what you were putting in as a scenario, and, you know, the dialogues and all of that.
Do you have some favorites for
Always a lot
people?
of
I mean,
research.
what's separate? So they mixed it around a little bit.
Yeah.
They changed the rules a little bit.
Yeah.
Other things too. What, like, do you go back? Do you personally love this stuff and go back and watch it, or is it just you appreciate?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I'm not the only one, because a lot of the time, if you open French TV, at least like a couple times a week, they'll put some of those movies out, because it's like, you know, it's part of our culture. We've grown up. Maybe I wasn't born when those movies happened, but I grew up with them later on. And it's kind of like this iconic time with iconic French actors and actresses that we've all admired, even though they are maybe dead a while ago.
I wonder if it was the same.
A nostalgia, I would say.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's the same around the world. Like, this is the 60s, right? 50s, 60s?
Yeah, around that time.
So I wonder if around in other countries, I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of listeners right now in the States, in Canada and Australia.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was the same, like if this Nouvelle Vague, they changed cinema here, and everybody has this nostalgic thing in the 50s, 60s, or if it was really a French thing.
Yeah, that's a great question. I know that it was popular in other countries too.
Yeah.
Like some actors are, you know, have crossed borders, like Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon. They are well known, like in other countries, and really admired too. So it's interesting to see how that translates to the rest of the world. When I first started to share about it, I was like, maybe nobody knows about it, but it turns out a lot of people do. So
I think even people who don't know about it would see the kind of pictures and videos and stuff, the kind of stuff that you share with your comments and stuff, and would be like, that's beautiful. Like, there's no denying the visual.
Yeah, impact.
If you, rather than asking your favorite ones, if I were to say I'd never seen any of it, which isn't true, but let's say, and I was going to go home over the weekend and watch 3.
Oh, 3, okay.
Yeah. Set me up.
Let's do it.
So these don't have to be your favorites.
Yeah, so I think one great one that actually had an adaptation, later on as the talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah,
Ripley.
Sure, Ripley.
I forgot how it's pronounced, sorry. It's Purple Noon, and it's with Alain Delon. It's really nice. It's like thriller, you know, so you're captivated
It's
from
called
the start.
Purple Moon in English?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, those French titles translate weirdly
Yeah.
to English. That's another fun topic, because really sometimes it's totally different.
You mean when they take American movies and make them French?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes they keep them in English and call them something totally wild.
And it's like, wait, I didn't know Home Alone was Maman, j'ai raté l'avion. It's like
Mama missed the plane, is that what it's called? Wow.
So,
I watched that yesterday, by the way.
Yeah.
That's my nouvelle vague. Okay, but what was it called? Purple Noon?
Purple Noon, yeah.
Yep,
So
okay.
it's like a thriller, but sets in Italy. But really, you're captivated, I think, from start to finish. And that's an old movie, but it's just like the mystery, the thrill of it, the scenes, everything is really cool. One that really changed the world, I would say, and it's not an overstatement, is And God Created Woman.
Yep.
With Brigitte Bardot. Actually, the Vatican banned the movie.
Yeah, or you got to imagine if you made movies and you got banned. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
You just be like, this is it. Banned by the Vatican as well.
For every time, and it's just like a woman dancing on a table, and that was seen like so offensively.
Was that the scene when she was...
Yeah, maybe you've seen
I've
it,
seen
right?
that one,
like
but it
when
was
she's
like
dancing on the
after,
table.
like there's a breakup or something and she just goes and does her own thing. Is
Yeah,
that
but
what
it's
happened?
like she's dressed, right?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing really crazy about
Yeah.
it. And at the time, it was seen as really outrageous
Yeah.
and provocative. So I think it set the path for a certain liberation for women as well. And just like this emancipation through culture and film, which is really cool.
Was that her first movie as well?
Yeah, one of the first one,
Yeah.
She was really young then, I think, like
Yeah.
20 maybe or something.
And she's still kicking around down in south of France somewhere, I think.
Yeah, she has a refuge for animals.
That's
She
right.
lives surrounded by them. I
Yeah.
think.
Wow. Okay, that's 2 movies. Give us another one.
Ooh, okay, let me think. It's not a nouvelle vague, but it's a very iconic French movie called La Grande Vadrouille.
Yep.
Maybe
The Christmas
you've heard
one? They
of
watched it
it.
at Christmas?
It's not a Christmas one, actually. It's about World War II, but in a very funny way, which is, I know, weird to put in the same sentence, but it's very, like, it's the most popular movie in France.
Yeah.
Before Titanic, before any other foreign movie, it's like the #1 movie.
This is the one
that
where
was
they're
ever
in
made.
the Grand Mosque. In the
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
Why have I got
I've
it
seen it.
associated with Christmas? What's Christmas to?
Maybe.
Maybe I watched it at
it's
Christmas.
Yeah, it's.
Okay.
But so it's a really iconic, French movie. But
And impossible to pronounce. Say it again.
La Grande Vadrouille.
Wow, that's a tough one.
I'm not sure about the English title. I'm sorry.
No, it's
I'll
probably
find that
called
out. So yeah.
Home Alone 8 or something. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, 3 good movies. Okay, now let's fast forward into the future because as I wrote, maybe some people read the sort of preview for our conversation, TV, I was going to say French TV, but also Paris-based TV is having a moment right now. And
100%, yeah.
I think it's bold to say that it's renewing a fascination with France because that's been there forever.
Yeah.
But it's certainly having, I don't know if comeback might be strong as well, but it's having this moment.
Definitely.
And I want to talk about it. Firstly, do you feel in your sort of profession that you have to watch all this stuff even if you don't like it?
I'm like a cinephile, so I don't mind watching. I feel like it's cool to discover new shows, and especially when they give this kind of modern perspective on things.
Yep.
Kind of a new breath of air sometimes.
The reason I kind of said that is because I know Emily in Paris is really popular but divisive.
Yeah.
There are some people who don't like it. As a French woman, does it, like, when you see Emily wearing a beret and acting like that, does it make you cringe a little bit?
Honestly, no, I don't think Emily in Paris is about France. I think it's about a fantasy of an American in Paris. So I see it in a very, almost endearing way. Like, it's beautiful, and it reminds us as French people sometimes that we forget to see our city that way and to see our country that way. So I think it's a nice reminder for us that sometimes it's nice to also, perceive beauty back into things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's more like for entertainment, right? So I don't think it's that cringe. What did you think watching it? Did you watch it?
I watched maybe half of it so far.
Yeah.
But I started halfway through.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Whenever there's, I've seen about half of it and I agree with you. I think it's great for Paris.
Because a lot of scenes are actually in Paris.
Yeah,
So
and they
I feel
choose
like
some pretty cool spots as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's what people like is the fact that it's not a setting. It's like you see, people say it's fake, but no, it's actually in Paris, in real locations with real, like settings. And and cafes and conversation, and I feel like people love that because they feel like a part of it. Just not just visiting through like a glass. It's like you're part of.
Well, I think also there's this kind of Disneylandification of Paris, and people who live. I mean, you work in a similar job to what Emily works in. I work in a kind of similar job as well.
Yeah.
And I'm also a foreigner who came here and so on. And so there's
Maybe we should do Oliver in Paris.
Oh my God. There's some things that are definitely very overly romanticized.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard, And I don't know if that maybe wouldn't make such good TV, but this idea of just being dropped in here and everything working is like a fantasy.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's the whole plot. But in terms of this renewed interest in Paris, people love it. People must be coming here. I know people. We do walking tours that pass in the two places that tie to Emily in Paris. One, when we go through the Place des Vosges, there's the restaurant, the Ambroiserie, 3 Michelin stars. And I just know it as a 3 Michelin star restaurant. But when I saw there's the scene...
she was there,
some characters were there. And then when I start mentioning that, people on the tour sometimes get really excited. And same in the Latin Quarter, you can see the door where
she lives.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can see the excitement on people's faces more than when they see Hemingway's door, So it's cool to see what it's doing, I think. But it's not just that. I mean, you and I were talking the other day about all these other movies and TV shows.
Like Lupin also.
Lupin as well.
Big hit.
Lupin is killing it. People are... And the books are quite old as well.
Exactly. I was going to say it really helped to make something what was seen as old and honestly a bit maybe boring to certain people, and just completely remix it and turn it into something, because it is kind of intellectual if you look at it. Like, it's not a shallow show. There's a lot of underlying messages and the history and, you know what I mean, tying into culture as well. I mean, the Louvre, all of that. So I think it renewed this interest for literature, also, and culture.
Here's a tough question for you. If Lupin, and Emily in Paris, imagine they were both set in Chamonix, right? Or Grenoble or whatever.
That's a good idea.
Right?
If producers are here again.
So if it was called Emily in Chamonix, I don't know Chamonix anywhere near as well as you do, and it was the exact same plot, same characters, everything, would it be famous and would people care? Or is Paris doing a lot of heavy lifting?
Ooh, that's a great question. I mean, I do feel like people nowadays see France as not just Paris, and they want to explore more, and they know that, it's such a diverse country where you can find pretty much anything from skiing to, the beach in the south of France and the castles. Like, there's so much things you can do. But honestly, to answer your question, I think Paris would still be a bigger hit just because of what it represents symbolically to people.
So then does that mean then that it's people are watching it because of Paris?
I think it's a huge component of
so
that.
Paris is doing a lot of the is being the draw card as well.
Yeah.
So maybe it's got nothing to do with these TV shows at all. It's just Paris is like this got this things come into its orbit.
Yeah, like a magnet.
What about if we take these other shows we talked about, like The Bureau?
Yeah.
One of my favorite shows that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's not that Paris-y, is it?
Yeah, but I feel like you can see another thing that people wonder about, which is relationships between French people,
True.
How they interact, the hierarchy at work, the way to, like, they have loyalty, but they also have, like, chaos and confusion. So it's interesting. I think it's a real reflection of sometimes our interaction as French people, because it's a very special interaction, I think, that, from living here, right?
For sure.
With French. It's a way of doing things.
And it's hard to, like, there's not just one, it really is. And they, like, because I know my mum told me to watch that show.
Yeah.
And she would message me sometimes and she'd say, the least sort of expected comment on that show, as in, isn't it interesting how they have long lunches?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And, but again, that ties back to what we said before about how, like, the lunches or the food or the culture is just, and it permeates into these TV shows that are about spies and get people talking.
But you still get a glimpse of the French life, and I think that's what people are really obsessed about, is why the French, you've seen, I'm sure, these books and we've talked about it. And I think you've had some people come in here to talk about them as well, but like, how French people raise their kids, why French people don't get fat. All of these books. There's so many of them.
How to be Parisian wherever you are.
Exactly.
There's a long list of them, yeah.
So I feel like there is this true fascination about why French people live that way and how it's portrayed as well. Is it the reality? Is it not? Like, there's many questions around that.
I want to talk about how you want to share this with the world and especially America in a second. But I want to touch on the other comedic TV show that we haven't talked about at all, Call My Agent.
Call My Agent, yeah.
You like it?
I think it's fun. Yeah, I haven't seen all of it, but I've seen some glimpse of it.
Yeah.
I think it had a lot of famous actors as well.
Which I think a lot of those, like Julien Doré, the singer, is in it. And I know who he is.
Yeah.
But I would imagine a lot of people abroad don't know who that guy is. But
Camille Cotin as well.
Sure. I bumped into her in the Marais recently.
Yeah, you
But I didn't. I was too nervous to know. She was on the phone or something. But anyway, so that show as well is another one that's totally worth checking out for people listening. We'll write all these in the show notes. But you want to literally bring this French culture on the road. Why do you have this urge to share the French culture with specifically Americans?
Because I feel like there's many misconceptions about it. As a French woman who lived in the US, sometimes I encountered people who had this idea of it, but was not necessarily a reflection of reality. So I was like, it would be interesting to just bring my perspective as a French person, try to make it more authentic maybe, and go away from cliches and stereotypes and kind of really dig into it, and like you were saying, in a deeper level, not just the shallow surface. So
not like getting someone to tell you the best 3 Nouvelle Vague movies, but taking it a little bit.
No, I mean that's deep.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but
deeper.
But and what's the end goal? Like, what do you want to? You want every American to know how to live like a French person?
Well, maybe not, but I just feel like nowadays, as content creators, you can also be kind of a cultural ambassador. And I've talked about that with other people who represent their own country in a way online. And we feel like we have a space to, make people understand better what it's like, maybe, and want to come here and experience it for themselves.
What do you think about all the other people? So we've met a bunch of times at the American Embassy events.
Yes.
Which is funny because, I mean, you got an American connection, but you're French.
Yeah.
And I am Australian with no American connection. We're imposters a little bit now.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people in those rooms, especially when they do stuff for the content creators and stuff, who are doing similar things.
Yeah.
What's your take on all of their work at once?
But, I feel like it's interesting to see their perspective, because most of the time they move to a country that they had no attached to, right? Yeah. And just have to start over from scratch. So I feel like that's a perspective that always feels authentic because you're following someone's life and footsteps in a new country. Most of us have been there, traveling. Sometimes it's difficult, and I feel like they created this nice community that is supportive of them and wants to see them evolve as well.
I was kind of hoping you'd give me the gossip about... No, but I agree. There's so many people. What's cool, I think, is that there are so many people doing...
What do you feel? Yeah.
I just think that it's fun to meet. Like, you'll meet someone whose focus is food.
Yeah.
Or you meet 10 different people whose focus is food, and one is like, I want to eat in every restaurant, and one is, I want to cook everything, or I want to try the food of all these different whatever.
Yeah.
And just in that little niche, there's all these different ideas. And then, I mean, you and I are in quite similar niches, but we do it in a very different way as well, So it's kind of, I find it exciting to meet
Exactly.
Because none of us really have colleagues,
Exactly. So it's nice to, bond.
I think so too. I want to ask a question. Instagram is your main world, right?
Yeah.
So I mentioned before you got these PDF guides to Paris, which we'll link below in the show notes and so on. I'll link to your Instagram page and your website. But Instagram, where you're really focusing your energy and stuff, how can I build my Instagram? What's the secret? Give me the golden formula.
Ooh, I don't know if I have it, but I'll tell you what I did when I started was being consistent. So I was, I think, posting 2 to 3 times a day. But it was COVID then, so I had more time.
2 to 3. Is that? Well, if that's the golden formula, it's going to stay exactly where it's at.
But I feel like consistency nowadays is what pays off. Just like and people can tell when you post about something you're passionate about and you really put your heart and soul into, which I think you do very well.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
So I don't think you need much advice.
That's my favorite
from
kind
me.
of answer. Don't do anything. Okay,
But
great.
really, yeah.
I want to ask a question
mean-
very relevant to everybody listening now to end on, as time has raced away.
Oh, wow.
How can everyone listening bring a little bit of French culture, French art de vivre into their life without too much effort? You know, because with a lot of effort, you can learn the language, come here and have the
Yeah.
croissants. What's a little way? And I apologize for the tough question to finish.
No, I really like that question. I think, to me, French, bringing that French vibe, let's say, to your life starts with appreciating the little things, doing some little rituals for yourself. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be expensive, you know, it doesn't have to be, like for me as a French person, is savoring the little things, the everyday little things that we overlook sometimes and that we should take more time for, you know.
Like what?
Like could be as simple as, you know, maybe taking 5 more minutes for yourself in the morning to read a nice book, or, you know, take longer to make your coffee, or I don't know,
Yeah.
take a walk and listen to some French music.
I love it. There you go. Easy stuff, everyone at home. That's
Watch
how
a
easy
movie
it
if
is.
you have more time.
Well, now people have got 3 to check into this weekend. Not all those TV shows that we mentioned are excellent.
Yeah.
But you're Lucille before
Yeah.
from the French Vibes Club. As I said, everything's linked below. Thanks for coming into the studio and
Thank
sharing.
you so much for having me.
No, well, the pleasure was mine. And keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Same to you.
So there you have it. Once again, Lucille Before, linked down in the show notes, everything that she's done and how you can follow along as well. We'll even put those films that we mentioned and more. Once again, a huge thanks to Lucille for being on the show, and a huge thanks to the members on Substack and Patreon who support the show and make the wheels spin. Incidentally, now I'm going to be doing we're going to round out the hour talking to these members and answering questions, a bit of a Q&A session live on YouTube. Don't miss the next one. Become a member. I'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. And avec mes salutations distinguées.
Bravo.
There you go. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.